welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joined from the Fitchburg Sustainability Department. I don't even know if you have a department. Every
let's say we do.
time I do the
It's
interview
been a
with
little
you,
different,
but you know why?
and I want to start documenting them all.
You should, because the hard part for me is like we interview the library, we interview the senior center, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you're like a sub of a sub, and
I am just an entity unto myself.
That's what I mean. It's amazing.
And I'm gonna make
I'm just gonna keep driving in until one
It's gonna be the longest business card title you've ever seen. It's gonna be just fantastic.
All right. A sustainability specialist is Phil officially, so that we'll start with that. Hi. And we have a sustainability plan update to kick things off here. So that plan is
We have
off.
a brief update on the sustainability plan, which is that we are close to having a draft plan.
Ooh.
So our final meeting for the planning team is coming up this next week. We've gone through a number of steps already, doing a survey, doing some outreach, getting conversations going with some people. The planning team has created some high-level draft goals that they think in a number of different areas the city should work to make different achievements. And then to accomplish those goals, they've come up with a series of potential actions under each one of those goal headings. Gone through some kind of criteria scoring to make sure that each one of those actions would be effective in a number from a number of different perspectives. And now we're going to meet to kind of wrap it all together. And once we have a draft plan, that will be released to the public. We'll present that to council. We'll bring it to a couple of city committees and also just make it public for review and feedback in some way. We have to figure out exactly what that'll be. But yeah, once we've got the draft plan, it'll be a couple months of sort of reviewing that and making sure that it goes through its paces. And then the final plan should be done late October.
Fantastic. And ultimately, for those not familiar with what is encompassing this, and I don't need you to go totally in depth here.
I could.
I know you could, and I want to save that for the big plan when it drops out.
Yep, fair.
But ultimately, if you were to wrap it up in a nice little bow and say, hey, you know what, this plan on the front is...
The sustainability plan... Fitchburg has a number of existing plans already, and sustainability is kind of a broad and vague topic. It's basically combining the ideas of environmental protection, social equity, and economic viability. So in a lot of ways, it comes out of the environmental movement, but environmental movement where people said, hey, there's a lot of environmental impacts that are really disproportionately impacting certain already stressed communities. And also when we talk about environmental pushes, you need to make sure that it's something that you can continue, that you have the resources to continue in perpetuity. So the economic viability is really important. We have a number of plans that already touch on different aspects of sustainability, but nothing that really wraps it all together. So the whole goal of doing this sustainability plan, it's something that there's been a push for a long time. A number of other communities have it. And it's really about looking at this from a comprehensive standpoint and saying, how do we make our city more sustainable than it is? Make sure that it's more equitable, it's more economically strong, but in a way that we're prioritizing economic growth that minimizes negative environmental impact, negative climate consequences, looking at our water protection and green open space, natural resources, all these different kinds of things, kind of in one neat little package.
Yeah. No, it's going to be great when it comes out. Looking forward to seeing the draft here real soon.
That was the summary, so imagine when I go into detail.
I saw some of it. It looks pretty darn good. So excited to share that out here on TF and the full report coming. This week is Bike Week in Wisconsin, and it's been a fun week thus far. But from your standpoint, how awesome is it?
On a level of 1 to great, I would say super fun. Super fun. So technically the League of American Bicyclists recognizes May every year as Bike Month for various reasons, one of them being that you can't necessarily count on winter being over yet in Wisconsin when May comes around. Madison, Wisconsin tend to celebrate Bike Week or Bike to Work Week, Bike to School Week, the first week in June. So that's what we do around the whole Dane County area, especially focused kind of on the Isthmus and surrounding. There are various commuter stations that'll be set up, so different businesses, coffee shops, nonprofits will set up a commuter station at a specific spot where they think a lot of people are going to bike past it, and they've got, maybe they have like coffee, donuts, scones, bagels, brat cakes. Amazing if you haven't had it. It's a little brat wrapped up in a pancake.
I was like, what?
Oh, what a way to start the day. So they'll have refreshments set up. They might have free like bike tune-ups or bike checks if you need that information on biking or on their organization. So Bike Fitchburg and I believe Ceres have both set up bike commuter stations this week. We're getting towards the end of the week, but there are still going to be a couple more commuter stations around the area that are worth checking out if you go search for Madison Bike Week. Kind of the whole of the Madison and its surrounding communities wrap up into that one. Look for commuter stations and just get out on your bike and ride. It's great weather.
And you don't think that you just missed out on Bike Week, which maybe you're going to. That's
possible.
okay. It's going to come back around. But you could do the Bike the Bird Challenge.
You sure can.
And that continues through the summer, which is a great opportunity to win some prizes. Bike bike anywhere, but get you out biking.
Yeah, this is an initiative from the Fitchburg Chamber that's been going on for, this is either year 3 or year 4 now. The Chamber has been promoting biking for a long time, but this Bike the Berg Challenge is a relatively new initiative. You can sign up at no cost. It's just kind of a personal motivator, tracker sort of event. You can pay to get a shirt with the Bike the Berg logo on it if you'd like. And the whole point of this is just get people out and riding, get to know all the various bike-friendly locations around Fitchburg, the trails, the businesses. The goal that they encourage people to set for themselves is bike 150 miles or more from May to September. You can also find rides that people have set, so there may be some organized group rides if you don't necessarily feel comfortable just going out riding on your own. There may be some organized rides that you can latch onto. You can, if you feel so inclined, create a ride and invite other people to join along, and that's all available on the Fitchburg Chamber's website.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and I think we undersell sometimes the great bike trails that we do have here in Fitchburg and how lucky that we are, because you can get to places pretty quickly here and see some cool places too. As when you're on the bike trails, you're off the path, so to speak, and you get to see things that you don't see when you're in the car or even walking.
I love the convenience of being able to get somewhere quickly in the car. I notice my surroundings so much more when I'm on a bike. You get fresh air, especially when you get off onto the trails. The Cannonball, the Cap City Trail, Military Ridge, and Badger. You get fresh air, you see and hear the birds. You just get a totally different perspective on the city. I really like that.
I think it just slows down. Even though you might be biking fast, you slow down a little bit and can see some things that you don't necessarily see. All right, switching over to our last topic today, which is Lomo May update for you, and leading into Pollinator Week. So we're combining. I'm combining both of these.
Yeah,
but,
why not?
Let's start with Lomo May number-wise.
So Lomo May, number-wise, we had 65 individuals officially register using the city's online registration form. That covered about 28 acres of property, which is fantastic. Last year we had 77 people register and about 38 acres covered. Now that said, I would anticipate I think about half of the people who registered last year officially signed up again this year, and I suspect that quite a few of them participated anyway, just without re-registering. So if I had to guess, we probably had between 80 and 100 people actually intentionally participating in Lomo May, which is really exciting. Even though the official number is down, logic tells me that we probably had increased overall numbers this year with about 30 new people signing up that didn't last year.
Well, and two, things changed. It got altered a little bit. We went to, instead of Nomo, we went to Lomo. So people may have still taken the, I can mow and just set the decks higher a little bit and mow differently. So nevertheless, it leads into the pollinator, so it's all about protecting the pollinators, and we're not quizzing myself on pollinators because I failed off air, picking squirrels and red pandas, but the real pollinators out there are...
Anything can be a pollinator if it tries hard enough, Jeremy. Anything can be a pollinator.
No, all jokes aside, Pollinator Week coming up. And
so there is a nonprofit, I forget the exact name, Pollinator Council, I think, Pollinator Society, something like that. It's a nonprofit that is international and really tries to focus all the time on pollinator health. We've all learned about the importance of honeybees to our food supply, but really pollinators across the board are, really keystones of their ecosystem. They keep flowers reproducing. They keep flowers and fruits and a lot of other plants going, and they also provide food resources for, larger predators that eat them. We really need pollinators around, and so low mow May is a great start to the year, but we really would like to make sure that we're thinking about them throughout the year. So that means, even if you're going to start mowing again, and that's totally fine, looking at other plants that you can plant intentionally that will grow throughout the season. Ideally native plants. There's a variety of native species that you can plant either in your yard to create more of a generally low mow yard that doesn't require as much maintenance, or just in some landscaping areas. Cutting back on things like chemical fertilizers and chemical herbicides and pesticides is huge, because we know that those things have an impact on pollinators. We know that they can leach into our water systems and linger there for a long time. So the third week in June is recognized by this group as Pollinator Week, and it's just a continuation of that focus on trying to protect the natural ecosystems that we still have and bring them back as much as possible within our suburban, urban landscapes.
Small steps to make change, I think, is cool.
Yeah.
Planting some extra native flowers, I think it would be kind of cool. We're trying that out this year ourselves, so we kind of got our garden set up. We went to a raised garden set up now.
Okay.
And so I left this last section open to do some type of native plants, and we just haven't got them. It's sort of been like heavy rain.
It's been heavy rain,
which would have been good to start a garden. But
it definitely is. It requires a commitment. It's more effort, and if you're buying them, there's a cost to adding native flowers. But there's different levels of it. Not everything is really expensive. There's Dane County Land and Water Resources Department and the UW Arboretum have native plant sales every spring. So definitely look at those as inexpensive ways to get into planting natives. And certain species like black-eyed Susans and echinaceas or coneflowers, those are relatively inexpensive also compared to some other species that are out there. So there are definitely more accessible ways to get into planting natives as well. So there is something for just about everybody.
There really is. So, all right, Phil. Well, I appreciate the update as always. We'll look forward to checking back in with you next month.
Yeah. Happy June.
Happy June.
Happy June.